Fred was a very famous writer in the 40s, 50s and early 60s. He was born in in South Yorkshire, lived in North Nottinghamshire, and eventually came to live in Bolsover in Derbyshire in the mid-1960s. Became caretaker at Bolsover School, which was formerly Moorfield School, and he was a very famous writer, but didn't make much money out of his writings at all. But they were very much appreciated and enjoyed at the time. Less known now, and the Civic Society felt that he should be remembered in the town where he died in 1969. So we decided that it would be good to remember Fred and commemorate him with a seating area, which was designed by Neil Potter and executed by Andrew Tebbs. So what we've got here is local stone, commemorates Fred. The book titles are commemorated on the end pieces of the stone, and we've got a fantastic commemoration of a man who really has been quite forgotten universally, really. But we want to remember him again in Bolsover and Derbyshire generally.
It's been a bit of a stop-start project. The original idea, and the first part of the project, there was a lot of conversations and making the idea work on paper. And then the Civic Society was busy getting permission, fundraising. I mean, the actual stone carving probably is about 4 or 5 months solid work, but it was spread over, COVID hit and lockdown happened while we were in the middle of doing this. So, that sort of stretched the timeline even further. We were probably two years in that sort of limbo stage, where I was able to get on with the stone carving, but not being public. So eventually, we got to a point where we were able to bring it all together. Normally, when I'm creating a piece of artwork, I start with ideas, but in this situation, I was given quite a lot of ideas from the people that originally conceived the idea of commemorating Fred Kitchen. So I was given a sort of a brief where I had to try and incorporate the commemorative dates for Fred, and also people wanted to represent his book, so they were the bookends for the bench. So I had those sort of ideas really given to me, but then I've sort of fine-tuned that in a way and made the design work so that we've got the images on the face there, facing down towards people approaching the library, which is inspired from one of his book covers, and then all the text in the book titles is all. I've tried to make that a bit more interesting by using different fonts that are appropriate for the different books. The creative aspect for me was bringing it all together and not really coming up with the original idea.
He was self-taught, self-educated, wasn't an educated man at all, but he had a natural ability to write. And so having this building here, built in 1976, which is a fantastic building. I mean, I might be rather biased, but when the building was built in 1976, I was librarian here at the time. But it's one of the finest library buildings in Derbyshire. So it's very fitting that we should have Fred, one of our finest Derbyshire writers, a seating area outside one of our finest Derbyshire libraries.
And if that's fitting, you've now managed to get all these books back into Bolsover Library?
We have indeed. We've managed to persuade the County Library Service to transfer all his books from County Store at Matlock at County Hall to Bolsover. I said, well, you know, we've got a couple of volumes here, but what about all the rest of them? Let's get them here where people can read them, people can see them. This is where they should be appreciated, not in a store at Matlock. And they did agree quite willingly eventually to house them here. So we've got all Fred's original book writings here, his original publications here in stock at Bolsover Library.
I'm really proud because it's celebrating another artist that is not forgotten, but deserves to be, you know, have his reputation lifted up really. And because Fred's been gone for 40, 50 years, it's about time that his work was made more prominent, and hopefully this will sort of give it a bit of a lift. People start reading through his books and seeing what he's produced. So for me, that's the sort of the satisfaction of actually giving sort of you know, a bit of prestige to another artist is quite a good thing to be able to